you're the only person within that room where you think you are. There's probably loads of other people who feel like that in the room, who comes from a place where you come from and you've only been in that for the first setting, and you realize that everybody around you's been doing this for years or been doing this from like the jump. Like when I was speaking to certain people there, and it's really cool. Like a lot of people who came from like loads of privileged backgrounds, more than willing to help. But you kind of realize that, they've known about these internships since they were in like secondary.
Wow,
or their pops works here, and you're thinking, I know nobody.
So you're realizing that some people have had some sort of exposure to this world.
Yeah, 100%. And it kind of makes you, with me, oddly, it made me more competitive, but at the same time, it also kind of made me feel like, okay, like, what does this kind of mean for my friends? What is this? Am I the outlier? Like, am I like, what's happening with everybody else kind of thing? And luckily enough, all my friends, we work in sales, like we work in tech sales and things of that sort. But at the time, it was like, we feel like we don't kind of fit in. But weirdly enough, I had a really good team around me at Legal in General and at my other internships who actually told me like, look, your talent, your aptitude, your intelligence has got you here.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the 10,000 Interns podcast. This is a 6-part series that marks and celebrates the Foundation's ultimate milestone of creating more than 10,000 paid internship opportunities across 35 sectors across the UK for Black students and graduates. This podcast series serves as an archive. We'll be highlighting all the amazing work that the Foundation has done over the last 5 years. You'll also hear from interns, alumni, trustees, and other individuals who've been part of the charity's journey. I'm your host, Seren Jones, and for this episode, we're doing something a bit different. We have an alumni with us who is going to talk us through what it's really like to go through the charity's processes. And, maybe if you think this place isn't exactly for you, there's someone today who's going to be able to convince you that actually you should definitely apply. So I would like to introduce you guys to
Aiden. Yeah, Aiden Clayton-Crosse. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Yeah. You've had a busy 24 hours. You were just up in Leeds.
Yeah, and I was in Leeds with my old man, sister, stepmom, older cousin, and then came back like 1 yesterday.
1 a.m?
Yeah, then had like a client in at 10.
Wow. Yeah. Non-stop.
Non-stop. And it's my day off as well.
It's your day off.
But work has to be done. Like, I love my job, so yeah.
Well, thank you for coming in on your day off.
Thank you.
And I hope you don't have too much to do after this.
Chilling? Straight back to bed.
Okay, good. Good. That sounds about right. Okay, so Aiden, before we start this interview, just tell us a bit about who you are, where you're from, and what do you do?
Yeah, my name's Aiden. I'm from 2 places. So I claim 2 cities, Leicester and Leeds. So from a place called Highfields in Leicester, Chapeltown in Leeds. And currently I'm a fixed income trading specialist at Bloomberg. So been at Bloomberg for 1 year and 7 months, coming up to 2 years. And yeah, loving my job, loving the coverage. So I cover traders only, buy side and sell side workflows. So yeah, the full shebang.
Okay, and for people who at home might not know what fixed income trading is, what does that mean? Break it down for us.
So similar to how you probably see people in the movies trading stocks, it's the exact same thing, but with debt securities. And Bloomberg, essentially, we provide the execution platform, so the actual software where people will do that on. So imagine like going to the app store, buying an app, and basically doing your messages on there or any other utility. We provide that bot for fixed income traders or for people within the market. So yeah.
Okay, you learn something new every day.
Yeah, I do every day on my job as well.
Yeah? Well, I just learned something new by learning what that is, so, Okay, so let's go back to the beginning of your journey, right? Tell me what year it was when you applied for the internship, first of all.
That would probably be 2021.
Okay.
Yeah, 2021. And like for full context, when but I don't explain this a lot to like people. People assume that like I've just gone to say like prestigious university, smashed it, and then worked in finance. Like I started non-target uni, so for my personal experience, I didn't see a lot of opportunities advertised for high finance or for fintech or tech in general.
Okay.
My university placement, they told me to go work in tax. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. So funnily enough, 2021, I was commuting from Leeds to Manchester at the time.
For work?
No, for uni.
For uni?
Yeah, for uni.
Okay.
Yeah, I love my area too much. I love my area too much. And then, I remember literally coming back, must have applied to like a million things, million jobs. And because of the uni, like, you know, with certain institutions, they want to hire only from top 10 or Russell Group. So, yeah, I remember a lot of people like myself at university didn't really have a lot of money or savings, no Spotify premium. So we had to let the ads run. Yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah, so we had to let the ads run, and I had fancy like an internship within finance or tech or within these sectors. Applied to like 10,000 Black Interns. So,
Wow, you heard it on Spotify.
Yeah, walking back up like my dad's street on like Spencer Place, walking up there. I was like, oh, my 6 skips have run out. I've got to listen.
That's your first thought.
Yeah, I've got to listen to these ads now, and I was like, oh, this is not Hotel Trivago. This is 10,000. This is something serious. So yeah, I remember I did my application and I forgot about it. Went back to uni. You know, you're second year student, you're doing everything. We just came out of lockdown as well.
Okay.
And yeah, like someone called me and said, oh, like, have you like applied? Like, and I was like, what? First of all, like, how? Oh, I don't know if they could see it on the system or whatever. And I applied literally the day before the deadline.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The day before. So it's never too late for anybody who's like out there.
Yeah.
Applied on the I think the day before the deadline, and the rest was history.
Gosh.
So that was my literal first jump into actually finding out about like the foundation.
Okay.
From a Spotify ad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember specifically what about the ad that made you actually apply, albeit last minute, you still applied? So what was it about the ad that made you think, you know what, I'm just going to do the thing?
Yeah. It was targeted to me, really. Like as a young Black man in the inner city, I can probably name you out of 100 people, how many of them are like financial professionals, if anything. Like where I'm from in both areas, the representation for people who work within finance or work within tech is slim to none, basically. So when I'm hearing that this was for Black students, Black grads, I'm thinking to myself, okay, there's people who are actually kind of championing like what I'm seeing in the day-to-day. Like there are thousands of kids from the inner city who, just because they don't know the opportunities exist, won't try, you know? And that's one thing I don't think people understand. It's not that the youth of today are out just trying to, you know, keep up with badness and keep up with the Joneses. Like they genuinely don't know what to do or where to go. So when I heard that was directed towards Black students, I'm like, okay, like after all that had happened with COVID and all that had happened with like the center assessed grade system, I don't know if you know about that.
No.
So like I didn't do my A-levels, right? And like a computer algorithm did them for me. And I kind of felt like the world had kind of forgotten about us. Like, you know, we've not had any opportunity or chance to kind of like, we could have gone back to do our A-levels, but, you know, we were at different circumstances. Like mine as well was a bit complicated.
So you were given predicted grades?
Not even, center assessed. So mine were A-star, AC. I got A-star, BD from the algorithm. It was like a distribution thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I didn't really feel like at the time, whether it was my uni, like no disrespect to my uni or like my school, but I didn't really feel like, I feel like it was just, oh, here you are now, like crack on. I didn't feel like anybody really cared. When I kind of heard the ad, I was like, okay, at least someone's taken the time to actually create a program. When I spoke to like the founders, Dawid, like Michael, like these people genuinely cared about us, like took time out of their day or like pulled us to a side and were like, okay, what do you want to do? Like speak to this person or like try and learn this skill. You know, people weren't telling me that when I was at uni or when I was at school, really. Probably only like 1 or 2 people. When you're seeing it come from somebody who looks like you, talks like you, comes from the same kind of area as you listen to it a bit more. So yeah, that's kind of why I was taken aback, to be fair.
Wow. So you get to a point where you apply for the foundation, you forget that you apply.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot.
Time passes, you hear back. What happens then? Like what were the next steps?
Oh, it was, this is going to be a bit of a like oxymoron, I think. Positively overwhelming.
Okay.
Because I'd never seen so many kind of like companies want me to send my CV or like make me do a hire view. And I didn't really know what to do at the time.
Right, okay.
So I think it was Deutsche Bank, Deloitte, HSBC and Legal and General. And it was like, okay, like what do I do now?
Wow.
Like I've actually got things in front of me now.
And what, these big companies came through the foundation, is that right?
Through the foundation, yeah.
Wow,
and it wasn't like the roles that they were like wanting us to do were serious roles.
Okay.
So,
and you were Aiden from Highfield / Chapel Town, studying, what do you study at uni?
Econ.
Studying econ. And you were like, damn.
I was like, what do I do? I remember I had to ask like my missus, like love her to bits. I was like, yo, like, how do I hire you? Like, I don't know what to do. Like, so literally I was taking my time out of my day every day just to strategize, just to go on a company website, find their values, their missions, what I agreed with. And yeah, like what happened afterwards was 3 rejections. I was gutted, yeah. Like I think I'm one of a few people who probably failed a psychometric test, situational judgment.
Yeah.
What would you do in this scenario? And if Bob told you to do this, like how would you react?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know how to do this. And then yeah, funnily enough, Legal and General, when I did my hire view, my digital stuff with them, they were like, yeah, we want to interview you. And then, then like did it in my cousin's office. Shout out to my cousin Curtis, did it in his office. And they got back to me the same day and were like, when can you start?
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you feel going into that interview? Were you as confident as they seemed to be with the outcome?
Yes and no. Yes and no that I believed in myself, because we had like when the kind of when the program started, they had like training sessions. Basically.
The foundation?
Yeah. So they had like mini sessions that you'd like attend to like pre and like post like interview.
Okay.
On like how to conduct yourself, like pointers, questions to ask. So I was kind of tooled up, to be fair. Like I was very prepared. When you actually get into like your first ever interview and they're saying, okay, we want you to do credit research. You have no idea what credit research is. Fixed income is like a foreign language to you. And then you're going in there being like, okay, now I can do this. Like, even though I'm a bit overwhelmed, like I'm prepared. So yeah, it was a bit of both. And then when they called me, yeah, I was in bed. I was like tired. Came back home, got a call from like a +20 number, and I was like, yeah, this is London calling.
Wow. You knew.
Yeah, and then they offered me the role. Read me my contract on the phone. My stepmom heard it. She was like, what? Like she was like, because obviously like. With the internship stuff, like my mom, my stepmom, and my dad didn't know it was paid.
Okay.
So
did you realize it was paid?
No, no, because I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna go to London. I'm gonna stay with my auntie. Like I'm gonna have to like.
And I understand as somebody who's not from London, like that is a big enough appeal in itself, right? You get to go to the city, and London equals opportunity, equals exposure, equals networking. So the pay is just
pay was and it was all right.
Yeah,
it was all right as well. Yeah. So like, I was gobsmacked, and like the role in itself as well. Like when my line manager called me at the time, she was like, yeah, you're gonna be on like the Euro and Sterling credit desk, and this was at the time when markets were moving. Like inflation was like 14.5%. Like. Bonds like were selling off like ridiculously. So I was thrown, like they weren't just putting me on the sidelines, they were like, you're joining the meeting. Like you're doing the analysis for this. I covered like consumer goods, AB and Bev, like Heineken. They were like, we need these models done by X date. Like, and I was like, literally just finished my second year uni. Like, I don't know what's going on. But yeah, that experience was invaluable, man. Yeah.
Wow. So you come down to London for the internship, 6 weeks, 8 weeks?
That was 8 weeks.
That was 8 weeks.
Yeah, that was 8 weeks.
You've just touched on kind of the professional setting and kind of expectations. So going into this new environment, which I'm guessing was your first time being in a corporate environment?
Yeah, first time. Yeah.
How was that?
Oh, interesting. Lots of characters. Lots of, I would say for the first part, I know we talk a lot about imposter syndrome, and it is a buzzword that is thrown out there. Like that is real in some settings. Yeah. You're going out to certain networking events and like there is a kind of like code of conduct that you don't know, if that makes sense.
Okay, you want to elaborate on that?
So I come from an area where, you know, we're probably not used to going out for like going to certain restaurants or, you know, going to certain like events, and we're talking about like big kind of like, I don't know, like corporate events, dinners and whatnot. And you're the only person within that room, well, you think you are, there's probably loads of other people who feel like that in the room, who comes from a place where you come from and you've only been in that for the first setting, and you realize that everybody around you's been doing this for years or been doing this from like the jump. Like when I was speaking to certain people there, and it's really cool, like a lot of people who came from like loads of privileged backgrounds, more than willing to help. But you kind of realize that, oh, they've known about these internships since they were in like secondary.
Wow,
or their pops works here, or and you're thinking, I know nobody.
So you're realizing that some people have had some sort of exposure to this world.
Yeah, 100%. And it kind of makes you, with me, oddly, it made me more competitive, But at the same time, it also kind of made me feel like, okay, like, what does this kind of mean for my friends? What is this? Am I the outlier? Like, am I like, what's happening with everybody else kind of thing? And luckily enough, all my friends, we work in sales, like we work in tech sales and things of that sort. But at the time, it was like, we feel like we don't kind of fit in. But weirdly enough, I had a really good team around me at Legal in General and at my other internships who actually told me like, look, your talent, your aptitude, your intelligence has got you here. And it's going to keep you here. And everything else is like is learned behavior, whether you learn how to be client facing, speak to people from different cultures, or like be at a dinner and kind of know, you know, the banter or know certain things like that. You will learn that. But your brain will tell you, no, you don't need, this is not where you are. And you want to be back in your comfort zone. You want to be back in a chapel town, you know?
Yeah.
So
how do you navigate or respond to that like mental tug of war, which is like, yeah, you want to be there, but like something instinctively inside you is like, go home.
I think finding people from the foundation who had been through that. Yeah. Like I spoke to when I was coming to London, when I was coming to work for Bloomberg, I reached out to Michael, and he actually
co-founder.
Yeah, and he sat me down and he gave me like the full like roster of like networking, you know, being punctual, like little things of like just how you carry and conduct yourself, and like being authentic in doing that as well. Because what a lot of people I think will do is they go into the corporate world and they will forget about where they come from and they mask. And that's something I don't think people touch upon. Like you'll speak to people like who look like you and you might be like, oh, you're from there. Oh, you're from a Homerton, or you're from a Hackney, or you're from a, you know, Longsight or Cheetham Hill. And, you know, you realize that everybody's playing the same game. When you speak to somebody who's been through that and you realize that, okay, like I'm not the first. Like there's people who've done this before me who are willing to teach me. And when I kind of opened up to kind of Michael about the stuff that I was going through at the time, whether that was like bereavement or whether it was that was family stuff, it was like, yeah, there's people who are going through that as well. And these are the resources that you can use to help you through that.
Wow.
If I didn't have that conversation, I think I would be having a different experience in London.
Yeah. In terms of what you were experiencing in the workplace with the day-to-day being thrown into something that's so foreign, not just setting-wise, but also work-wise. So let's focus on the work for a minute now. So you're coming straight out of uni. You haven't even finished uni.
No.
You didn't know what fixed income trading was before the interview. And now you're being put on this desk where, like you said, everything is going on at the same time.
People are saying sell, buy, sell.
Fine, cool. Apparently they're saying that. That goes over my head, right? So like, how do you respond to being in such a foreign environment? And I guess the pressures of feeling like, okay, I have to perform.
Boy, that's a question and a half. I would literally say that my mindset carried me through that, to be fair. Like, whether that was literally being in that environment and saying like, this is why I'm going to uni. This is why I've done A-levels, GCSEs. Like, I kind of knew I wanted to be in finance from the jump anyway. And I think my mindset of being like, you know what, if people actually want to see what I can do, I'll show them what I can do. It's the same thing like with my job, like being very client facing. Like, if I need to hit a target, I'll hit the target and I'll do some. So just being in there, and I think being raised in those environments where, you know, there's certain people around you they may be doing other stuff, but they have that mindset, kind of channeling that into a professional setting and being like, look, like it's not nothing me staying here after hours. It's not anything me waking up at 6, 7 o'clock. Like if people want to see like the talent, like, which is why like I was like, okay, this foundation has found me. Like they're recognizing me as a talented individual. Yeah, we'll go on the field and we'll play.
Yeah.
And we'll play until no one else wants to play, really. So that's what kind of got me through.
Wow.
Yeah.
So with that mindset and you're being given all this work, can you elaborate a bit on like what was expected of you? What was your day-to-day at this desk? What was that environment like? I feel like it's so easy as an outsider to watch dramas and stuff around corporate, and it's brutal, it's relentless, it's long hours. So could you give maybe the listeners and viewers at home a bit of an idea of what an 8-week internship with someone like Legal in General is like?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. So with LGIM, I sat on so basically sterling credit and like euro credit, they're basically what the bonds are denominated in currency wise. So you're buying like bonds that are for pounds or bonds that are for euro. And essentially my day-to-day was to come in at around like 8:30, look at the markets, see what was happening, see basically where the portfolios were positioned. And I would basically have a task to do where we were basically building out like models around what would happen if there was another COVID or if there was another recession and how this would impact the sectors we covered and then their fixed income securities.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. So a lot of collaboration. I did a lot of work with the ESG teams. So I got loads of ESG exposure because some clients wanted to avoid the sin sector.
Do you want to just explain what ESG is?
Yeah. So that's environmental, social and governance. So that is basically companies that want to promote, you know, a greener world, a safer world, a world where there's a lot more equality. So we were buying some of the bonds where companies had like ESG frameworks. That was super interesting to learn about.
Yeah.
And then, then doing a lot of work with like the traders as well. So funny enough, I'm in like the trading kind of sector now, like seeing how they operated. That was crazy. Like screens, just talk about screens like this big, like being in like a cockpit. And these guys are like speaking to the EM people. EM people are shouting back. They need this at this price.
Wow.
So we were proper thrown into it. And it wasn't just like they kept you at a desk and they told you crack on. Like you were in like pockets where you're with the senior analysts or you're with the PMs and the PMs are asking you about your opinions. And yeah, that was a big one as well. When I got, sorry, what were you going to say?
No, was that what you expected?
Nah.
What did you think that internship was going to look like?
Paperwork.
Really? What, just sat at a desk pushing papers?
Yeah, I thought I was going to be like going printer, getting coffees.
Wow.
I never got asked to do that once.
Never
I
got
asked to get on the desk and go to work.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So like literally with the biggest shocker of the internships that I've done with the foundation is that senior people have asked me my opinions on things. Like this is in the portfolio. Like, what do you think?
Wow.
Yeah, and you're like, let me get back to you on this. And you actually go, okay, like, what's happening in the markets? Like, should we overweight this? What have the analysts said? What have the sell side researchers said?
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, I think, like, yeah.
You were clearly very young when you were at this internship and having such weighted questions thrown your way. How do you convince yourself that you're worthy of answering those questions and that your expertise is valued? Because that's something I feel like people struggle with in general, regardless of how quickly or how far you kind of climb up the ladder in your kind of career, right? And sometimes, you know, factors like race play into it, sometimes they don't. So I'm just kind of understanding and appreciating your scenario at that time, a young Black man from the regions as well, is the added layers. So yeah, how did you persuade yourself that like, yeah, Aiden, this is right. Like this is, like stand behind your decision?
I genuinely feel like just me kind of being a very sociable person in those environments, like I said, kind of because of the mindset kind of shift, like, okay, I kind of deserve to be here. Like I have the intellect to do this.
Yeah.
It allowed me to collaborate. So it allowed me to actually speak to people who would educate me on, you know, if my decision making was right or wrong. And you do that a number of times and be open to actually making mistakes and being open to admitting that you don't know something. People respect that more than you trying to be a genius. So that's what I kind of did. I'd go to a different desk and go, okay, cool. Like we had like a project where we had to do like a trade idea basically. And how I wanted to do mine on aesthetic dentistry, which
Like veneers?
Veneers.
Wow.
Yeah, it was, what was the company called? Straumann or something like that. And basically going to people and them saying like, nah, this idea is rubbish. But then I wouldn't be disheartened. I'd be like, okay, like, why is it rubbish? They'd be like, yeah, there's not enough like investment that's going to be put in here. Like with the capex, it's going to be too expensive. Like the markets won't react to this correctly. And then trying to weigh up those ideas and then go back to my desk and be like, okay, so-and-so said this. Like, what do you think? And, you know, having those kind of like conflicting opinions was giving me the information that I needed to make my own decision. So yeah, I literally feel like being very sociable and then also being very open to making mistakes and understanding that, look, like I'm smart in this regard, but I may not be smart here and I'm open to making a mistake here.
Yeah.
So that kind of honesty, I think, kind of did something.
Yeah, sure. And also understanding that like you are there to learn as well, right? Like you're not going to know everything in your first kind of week, 2 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever. You're still 20? However old you were, 21 maybe?
I was 20 when I was at Legal and General.
Okay.
Yeah, I was 20. Yeah.
So as someone who was that young, how did you deal with the shift in your life? And I say that in the sense that like you're in London in the fast-paced environment, big city, big smoke, big lights, money world. But you don't come from that. And your family isn't there. Your friends aren't in that world either. And when you step out of that world, you are reminded that actually like a part of you is from another place. What are those kind of thoughts and emotions like when I guess they come, sometimes maybe they clash, sometimes they kind of intertwine into each other. Could you talk me through a bit about that?
Yeah. I'll be flat out honest. It's lonely, man. Yeah, it's lonely. It's lonely in a sense where like you feel isolated kind of from both worlds. Like when I was a kid, like people would make jokes saying that where's Aiden playing now? He's with his homework. But when I'm going to like the professional setting and they're asking me where I'm from, some people are gonna be a bit cheeky and ask me about, oh, so you're friends in gangs or you this and that. And it makes you feel uncomfortable. So you're kind of not fitting in both kind of worlds and you're kind of just in your own headspace of, okay, like it's just me doing this. Like I'm not doing this for them, I'm not doing this for these kind of people, it's just me. And you don't really, not that you don't feel a sense of community, but you don't necessarily feel like you belong anywhere, really. So yeah, like that's it's a bit of a cloud really. And at the time as well, when I was in London, like it was heavy for me, like to be like open and vulnerable, like lost my brother at the time, like I had like loads of things going on. And at the same time, it's like, yo, who do I call about this? How do I say this at work? You know, how do I say to somebody that I'm going through like bereavement or I'm grieving at my desk when I'm trying to prove myself on an internship and try to be careful of the things I say. But when I go back to my area, try not to sound too nerdy or geeky because I might be at like a block party or something or what have you, you know? And like, don't get me wrong, I feel like I'm a social chameleon at heart. Like you can put me anywhere in the world and I'll talk for England. Like it's fine. But it doesn't mean that like that doesn't come with certain things where you're thinking like, man, I wish there was someone who was kind of like me, who was, you know, trying to do this and went through the same things that I was going through. And really, really and truly, we had, this is going to sound so crazy. We went to the Meet the Changemakers event, 2021, when I was interning at Legal and General. And I was seeing people from like certain places in London, which I would have never thought to have been there. And we're all in, like, I seen people from like Leicester. My mate Rowan was there, you know, and he shouted me and we're like, oh, no, there are people that exist like this. There are people who are going through family stuff and they're going through like losses and stuff like that. And that was a kind of safe space where like I even spoke to like Dawood about that as well. Yeah. That was a safe space for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, at the time, yeah, it was difficult, man. Difficult.
Does that change over time, that sense of loneliness, or that maybe even to flip it on its head, that sense of belonging? Does that change over time? Do you find that in these spaces you can find your people, you can find your tribe, and things do start to feel differently? And has that been the case for you?
1,000,000%. And there were two people on my internship, one being from 10,000 Black Interns program, who I speak to like all the time. My mate Sam and then my other mate Adam. And like when we talk about finding your tribe and talking about representation and like also like shared values or shared experiences, like the program defo brought that.
Yeah.
1,000,000%. Like and those two people are like friends that I'll have for life. You know, you go to a Meet the Changemakers event and you're speaking to people who have been like, oh my gosh, like, how have you managed to do this? Like, I was feeling the same way too. So yeah, definitely that cemented that. It kind of removed that loneliness, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like it made London exciting. It made London exciting. It made it enjoyable because I feel like a lot of people from Manchester or like Nottingham or Leicester or Leeds will come to London or have that experience or the connotations of it's money, money, money. No one's talking to each other. Forget knowing your neighbours.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, not like home.
Exactly. And it's disheartening. It's disheartening to tell somebody from an area like, why are you going to London for? Why do you need to do that?
Yeah.
Where you should be telling them like, listen, people out here, you know, like who want to see you win, who have been doing the same stuff as you. So yeah, definitely found my tribe.
Yeah. Do you think there are a lot of people from the cities that you named and like from areas of home who like want to be doing what you're doing but just have no clue where to start?
I'd even flip that on its head and say that they don't even have the exposure to know what they want to do. Really? Like, if I was to take you through my area, right, both of them, you'd see like, you would not see any advertisement for Uni of Leeds in like certain areas or Uni of, or Russell Group unis or certain degrees. You wouldn't hear people talking about that. So if you don't have that stimuli in that area, if you like, for example, when I was a kid, like, I was watching videos like by like all these kind of like guru people, or just trying to figure out, okay, how do I do what I need to do? Looking at like Urban Finance or like Dean Forbes, like things like when I was going into like the city, and it took me time to find that.
Yeah.
Imagine if you're a 14, 15, 16-year-old in school, you're surrounded by negativity, your teachers are not really telling you anything, and people are expecting you not to get up to anything that's like out of what they want to expect you to do, you know? So I feel like I don't even think people have the awareness to know that there's you know, resources that are available because they're not put in front of them.
Yeah.
And we're expected to find them. Like when I'm 16, 17, and my friends are doing this, like people are doing whatever over here and whatever over there, they've expected us within this environment where people come from broken homes, people come from families who are going through craziness, to just, okay, everything's out there, go find it, and anything that you do that's a bad decision, that's up to you.
Yeah.
Not knowing that it's the environment that kind of shaped that person, you know?
Yeah, sure. So it's having that support is pretty vital, really, in order to
Essential. I think it's the backbone of success. You know, like if I didn't have one teacher in my school, Mr. Byrne, when I was in detention in maths, telling me about Benjamin Graham and Warren Buffett and like Archimedes, like would I have paid attention? You know, if I didn't have Michael Barrington Hibbert saying like, listen, you can come to London, you can make a fortune, would I be this motivated? If I didn't have my dad, like some of my people didn't grow up with like their dads or their mums, if anything. If I didn't have those people telling me that they believed in me and that they loved me, would I be in the same environment? Say that to a kid who's, you know, in a Harlesden, for example, or in a Chapeltown, or in like a, I don't know, like a Moss Side, you know, those people, some of them don't have that.
Yeah.
And they're still expected to, you know, yeah, but you're young people, you have technology, you have this, you can do whatever.
Right.
There's no life, but there's no backbone in there. There's no mentorship in there.
Yeah.
For positivity. So yeah.
Yeah, there's no community. Can we talk a bit about how 10,000 has been your support when, you know, from 2021 kind of onwards? Yeah, how have you found the foundation to kind of help you and guide you through this process of becoming a professional?
Ooh, where do I start, man? Where do I start? Probably from, I'd say the support was consistent up until I left university, because I've been part of their alumni network since 2021, being invited to certain events, being invited to the recent shoot, being invited to like seeing them at like Goldman Sachs's Black Voices in Finance, like David speaking there. Like they've followed me, really. You know, whether I wanted them or not, they've been there, you know. And all of the education like that was prompted, all of the taster sessions, like subconsciously I feel like that had an impact. Really, whether I was in the session and I just had it on in the background, like there's something going on. There's a purpose here. There's something behind it.
So they make a conscious effort to stay in your life.
Yeah, yeah. Like to the point where like I got, when they did the launch where Bakar was on the newspaper. Like yeah, they invited me there, and I'm thinking to myself, hold on a minute, like I'm at home, like I'm just chilling, and I've got this email where it's like, no, come and connect, come reconnect. People asking me what I'm doing, what I want to do. You know, if I'm enjoying my life, if I'm not enjoying my life, and people genuinely caring, you know? And like I said about finding your tribe, you're seeing familiar faces. You know, you're seeing the founders who know you, you know? And it's like having like people from like your desk, like I get along with like a lot of the management at my firm. It's like having them kind of behind you, caring about you. It's the same kind of feeling.
Yeah.
You know, people you look up to and you admire, like actually saying like, okay, like you want to do this? Speak to this person.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a snowball effect. That's a snowball effect that's existed since I was 20. Like I'm 23 now, almost about to turn like 24. So that's almost been 4 years in the making, and I'm still here. You know, so yeah.
How important is it to have men around you in these spaces who do understand your background and where you're from?
I'll probably say that, back to my point about representation, like being a black man and having those kind of lived experiences as a black man, I believe that it's good to have men around you who you can relate to and who you can bounce off. But as much as that, and I'm not trying to sound like I'm trying to be like cliche, like I was raised like a lot in part by my mum. Do you know what I mean? So the same way that like I might speak to somebody like Nana, for example, who inspires me, is the same way.
Who works for the foundation?
Yeah. Like I remember being at the event, and like I spoke to her for like a good half an hour, 45 minutes. And the point is I was getting from her, I'm like, yo, Like, we're talking about like life-changing conversations. Like, this is not like what you had for breakfast. Like, this is not like, oh, did you see what Arsenal did like the other day? Now, these are like, okay, have you thought about doing this in your life? Like, I did this helped me.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're equally as important. Like, I believe that like, even when I credit like my missus in my life, my mom or my stepmom, like these are people who've like instilled belief in me and have given me real life advice. And it's the same way that I've spoken to a lot of the men around me. I feel like with speaking to men, which is why like I feel like it's important from my perspective, is especially when you come from a certain area as a black man, there's certain things that you might go through, you know, that you and your friends might go through that maybe a black woman might not go through. And vice versa. There's things I can't speak up on the experiences of black women. My mom can, my sisters can. And that's why they will have different conversations that I might have with my pops. But at the end of the day, if you don't have both, you know, I feel like that fine balance, like I said, like being in the office sometimes, you might need a bit more of a female presence in there, you know?
Yeah, sure.
Because the idea is diversity is not just about making sure that like, you know, you look good for like a social presentation. It's about ideas, it's about contribution, it's about different experiences.
Yeah.
Which is what I feel like a lot of people misinterpret with like diversity, equity and inclusion. Like it's not like for a social program. This is real life business development. This is number one, it's right, it's fair to let people compete based on merit. But if you have all these like robotic people in the office who've all gone to the same school, done the same exact thing, where is the diversity of thought? Where's the growth in like the intellectual capability of the organization?
Do you think that's something organizations and companies understand or understand more? Or is it something that, considering this political climate we're currently in, perhaps it's wavering?
I'd definitely say it's wavering. I'd say that there's like companies, like all the companies that I've worked for have kept that. You know, they've understood how important it is to have like diversity within the workplace. I mean, today's political climate, you know, I can't really speak on it too much, but you know, I do believe that policymakers need to do a lot more to recognize that like the more and more you leave people in areas of like socioeconomic like duress and don't do anything to fix those issues, that number one, in terms of business development, that's going to stagnate. And number two, as a society, that's going to stagnate even more. So I feel like not having diversity, it's like riding a bike without a helmet. It's better to have and not need than to need and not have. You fall off that bike without a helmet, that's it. You know? You know, we've seen the line bike fiasco, the other with the tube strikes, you know?
Oh gosh, yeah.
So I would literally describe that as probably even being more important. I'd say it's probably like the heart of an organization, like a vital organ. But back to my point, like essentially, like if you don't, it's better to have that within the workplace than to avoid that. You know, it's better for your business. It's better for the social climate of your business as well. You know, people learn things from each other. So yeah.
So I guess branching off of that question, why is an organization like 10,000 Interns, in your opinion, so important and so crucial to have?
Can I be 100% honest?
Please.
Because for me, and for a lot of people, it's not just changed, but kind of saved our lives, you know? Like, not to say that, like, I would have grown up and been out here doing craziness, but I had hope. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you were to ask me, like, 19, like, having not done my A-levels, had rejections from JP Morgan, UBS, like, I was so depressed, like, during COVID, I didn't even go to my UBS interview. Like, I just forgot about it. My mom was like, nah, surely you can do anything. Longest ever walk I've taken at nighttime to just forget about it, you know? And then you go to say, you've gone to a university, people are saying it's non-target, you've got no spring weeks, you've got nothing really behind you, and they say, go work in tax. You're thinking to myself, right, 32 grand in debt, gonna work in tax, gonna just stay within the north of England for the rest of my life. What do you do? Life's gonna be fine. But when I went to the first time, like, meeting the founders, being part of the program, when you see, like, a Rebecca, when you see a Michael Barrington Hibbert, Dawid, you're like, yo, these people, right, look like me, speak like me, come from the same place where I am, and they're smashing it in life. And you're thinking to yourself, hold on, I've been given a lifeline here. You know, when even when I talk about my experience at Man Met, like when I used to kind of talk about my uni, when I used to go to networking events, people go, oh yeah, Man Met, cool, yeah. All right.
What does that mean?
You know, do you know what I mean? Uni up? Nah, the other one. Oh, you know? And that's no shade to the uni. Like, it did exactly the same as what probably a uni of Manchester would have done. But because the pipeline's not there, because the kind of like relatability is not there with, okay, like people from uni they go to do this, they do that. 10K gave me a lifeline, and it revitalized my ambition. Like if you probably speak to anybody on my desk and like be like, okay, like Aiden's a madman. Like Aiden's been here, he's doing all this work. That ambition was installed in me from when I started the program, because before that it weren't there. When I was going to uni and I was like, I got put on. Oh my gosh, mom, sorry. I got put on academic probation in my first year.
Wow. Wait, does mum not know?
No.
Is this breaking news?
Yeah, okay. Mum don't know.
Okay.
Dad knows. Dad knows. Mum don't know. But I got put on academic probation in my first year of uni because I didn't go. Because I didn't feel like it was worth it felt pointless. It felt like the game's already been lost. And then I don't know, maybe it's God working. I don't know. When that advertisement kind of came on, I was like, okay, there's something here. Like maybe I could do something with this. And then 2021, 2025, now 4 years later, like I say to my mom, my nan thinks I work in property. She thinks I'm a property developer.
Okay.
Yeah, fixed income trading.
Fine.
But no, like literally saying to my mom and my grandma, I'm like, oh yeah, like come in my little quarter zip, and come in with a decent thing on my wrist. And I'm like, yo, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, fixed income trading specialist. That for me is a full circle moment, Mm-hmm. So yeah. Change and save my life. Yeah.
Yeah. I think there are going to be some listeners or some viewers at home who might be at university, might not be at university, might finish university, who are hearing your story and it's inspiring, but they still might think, I don't know if that foundation's for me though. So for those who are maybe unsure or who are sitting on the fence, what words of wisdom do you have for them?
Nothing to lose. Everything to gain and nothing to lose. Like if you're thinking about, having, number one, not just the pipeline to get through to these corporations, but the support and the network behind that, you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. Like it'd literally be like somebody dropping like 10 grand on like your sofa and you just go and like, no, like take like whatever opportunity's been put in front of you, take it because you deserve to take it. All the graft and everything that these young people are putting in, like these programs are dedicated towards the ambitious young people, or young people who want that spark back or want to see what's out there. We don't have anything to lose, and not just that, whether you get in and you get an internship or you don't and you get rejected. Like when it was 100, I applied when it was 100 and I got rejected. Mm-hmm. But that in itself is experience. You've done your higher views, you've done your CV, you've done your cover letters, next time around, you'll smash it.
So it's not just about getting in?
No, it's about everything that comes with that. Like, I feel like rejection, people love to talk about, it's about being resilient in the workplace. And like a lot of people don't know how to take losses. A lot of people don't know what it's like to wake up. I was in Budapest when I got rejected from Deloitte. When I say like I'm Jamaican, I was vexed. I was in the hotel, opened my laptop and I seen it is with great regret. I was like, whoa.
No.
And then seeing HSBC and then seeing Deutsche and then you're like, yo, oh my gosh.
That's a lot.
And that for me was like, the skills that I learned from that being resilient, it's like, okay, one's gone on to the next. What did I do wrong? What mistake did I make here? And that will set you up for your entire career. Like when you have clients who, you might lose, or you might have, business relationships that you need to rebuild. You've got that hunger back, because you've actually taken a shot. And you will miss, I know it's cliche and these quotes, they annoy me, but you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of it. Mm.
What do you want to do? Like, you've been in the workforce for what, all of 2 years?
2 years,
full time?
2 years full time.
So you're really considered entry level.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You might not be, but like in terms of kind of time frame. What's the goal for you? Where do you see yourself in 5-10 years? Or do you have an ultimate goal that you're already working towards?
There's two.
Okay.
It's either inner peace or world domination. No, I'm joking. My goal is to be one of those figures that inspire me, like a Michael, you know, like a Rebecca, like a Nana, like yourself. So another young person from my neck of the woods and go, yo, like, I want to be like Aiden. You know, if I achieve that in life, yeah, I'm fine, innit? That I'm good. And like, literally, like, I'd want to turn an area like Fields or like Chappie. It's probably like going to sound like proper far-fetched, but into like a Silicon Valley or into like a, you know, an epicenter where, you know, the talent is coming from, rather than it being like, no shade to like private schools or whatever. But when I was growing up and I was like going to Leicester Grammar to play rugby, like all of the people who were getting scouted were from that school. You know, the same way that like a lot of people who might be doing internships or doing experience will come from another school. What if we could kind of turn that on its head and be like, look, those Chapeltown kids, those like, you know, Radford or like where, or like Fernby Lodge kids, like that's where the talent is. If we could redirect that to kind of there, and like when we talk about leveling the playing field, level that playing field.
Yeah.
I want to be like a proper like cornerstone in that. That's my kind of vision. I don't know if that's through policy making. I don't know if that's through raw graft and just like being present or like doing more things like this. But yeah, definitely that's my end goal. And then go Thailand, turn my phone off.
Yep.
Do Muay Thai for the rest of my
Yeah.
do Muay Thai for the rest of my life. Yeah.
I think you got our sound designer, our studio editor, ready to laugh at the first time this series. So
Grow up my hair. You know what I'm saying? Grow up my hair.
Yeah.
And just eat mangoes all day, man, and train, man. Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Listen, balance. Right?
Yeah.
One day at a time.
One day at a time.
But thank you so much, Aiden. It's been an absolute pleasure having you join us for this series. And I hope that your experience and your story inspires so many others to apply for internships at the foundation.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you.
So if you are one of those people at home who's inspired by Aiden's story, or if you want to learn more about the 10,000 Interns Foundation, you can find out through a couple of ways. You can either give them a follow on LinkedIn and on Instagram, or you can head over to their website, www.10,000internsfoundation.com, to find out more. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye.